Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out today. It's such a blessing to get to share with you these receptions and exhibitions that our students put together for what's called Senior Exhibition. The students learn to hang the work, to sign the work, to light the work like they would do in a professional gallery, but at the same time they're doing research, they're working on the project and presenting this body of work which belongs to them and them alone. So we get the opportunity to hear the story that goes with Betsy's show today. Would you help me give her a warm welcome and thank her?
Make sure that we get as many people in here as we can. So if you were comfortable sitting up here, you can totally come even closer, like in front of the stool or the benches if you want to. Yeah, there we go, front row seat. Sorry if you're in the splash zone, I apologize. All right. Wow, this is so special. Thank you guys so much for coming. This means the whole world to me that you guys are so supportive to drive however distance you drove to just be here. The work you see before you depicts moments and memories of my family, but even more, they are putting physical attributes to my relationship with those moments, those memories, and those people. The title of the show, Familiar Impressions, comes from the idea that the beautifully deep experiences we share are familiar to us because they are impressions of what eternal life will look like with a community of believers. Some people believe that all these moments have to be like really groundbreaking and earth-shattering. How many of you guys got to see the eclipse on Monday? It was amazing, and it was one of those moments where you're standing there watching the moon cover the sun, and you're pondering how the Lord orchestrated all of this for this one moment to his glory, and how beautiful that is. But if you notice, none of these are those huge, massive moments, but it's in these moments where we are working, playing, gathering, and resting, where we create the habit of doing so diligently, lovingly, I already said that, lovingly, intentionally, and joyfully unto the Lord. So I actually have a passage that goes along with a lot of the ideation behind it. So before I get to that, I had some volunteers to read. So my dad over here, and then where's Jace at? Jace is gonna follow up. Are you guys ready?
Oh yeah.
You guys can come up here if you want. I'm very informal. Yeah, go for it.
Psalm 145. I will extol you, my God and King, and bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you and praise your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall commend your works to another. You shall declare your mighty acts on the glorious splendor of your majesty, and on your wondrous works I will meditate. They shall speak of the might of your awesome deeds, and I will declare your greatness. They shall pour forth the fame of your abundant goodness, and shall sing aloud of your righteousness.
The Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love. The Lord is good to all, and his mercy is over all that he has made. All your works shall give thanks to you, O Lord, and all your saints shall bless you. They shall speak of the glory of your kingdom and tell of your power, to make known to the children of man your mighty deeds and the glorious splendor of your kingdom. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures throughout all generations. The Lord is faithful in all his words and kind in all his works. The Lord upholds all who are falling and raises up all who are bowed down.
The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food in due season. You open your hand, you satisfy the desire of every living thing. The Lord is righteous in all his ways, and kind in all his works. The Lord is near to all who call on him in truth. He fulfills the desires of those who fear him. He also hears their cry and saves them. The Lord preserves all who love him, but all the wicked he will destroy. My mouth will speak the praise of the Lord, and let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. All right. So, I thought about that passage a lot while I was painting these. And it wasn't a thing where I sat down with that psalm and read through it and decided to make these paintings. It was while I was making these paintings, a lot of themes from that psalm stood out to me. So I'm going to dive in a little bit into these themes. So when I first started making this show, as I said, it was just about my family. And I was reflecting on themes that the Lord had introduced to me as a young child. And then I noticed how those themes reflected themselves in my adult life. So this side of the show is moments and memories from my childhood. And then this side over here are those themes captured in moments of my adulthood. So this one right here is about playing. And I wrote a little thing. Let me scroll through my notebook. There we go. So that one is about playing and how our goal in life, the chief end of man, is to glorify God and enjoy him forever. And some of this joy looks as little as playing with each other in the backyard and worshiping God and celebrating his creation through playing. And the joy that we have is made complete by sharing it with others. I'm very blessed to have grown up in a family of believers, and so I know a little bit about what it's going to be like in eternity when we're standing side by side and worshiping the Lord with our heavenly brothers and sisters. So that's the playing one, and it is reflected by this one here. Now this looks completely different. This little pink lump right there, that's my first niece, Adeline, and she was in this moment too young to know how to laugh, but she laughed anyway. You know, like, just those round moments, and we were in awe of her playing, her joy, and it was made more complete by her sharing of that joy. So that's that one. I'm not going to talk about every single one of these because I think we would be here forever, and then I would be dissatisfied with the way I described some of them. So I am only going to describe two other ones. This one down here is a depiction of my great-grandpa, Ahart, and this is my brother, Joseph. He's somewhere around here. Right. Yeah, there's Joe. And then there's my brother, John. He's at prom. No This is a worthy, so. And that one, I feel like linked back really well with the psalm and what it said about how your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom and your dominion endures through all generations. And how when we experience big moments that the Lord puts in front of us, we continue to share that experience. So, if I ever have kids one day, I will talk about the eclipse until I die. It's so cool. I'm going to tell them, like, oh, all the colors around it was so pretty, and then I might have burned my retinas out, but, like, it was completely worth it. And in these moments, whether intentional or not, we share stories that reveal the timeless splendor of our Heavenly Father. And over here, that is being reflected in my grandma. She's right here, front row. Shout out. And this is my first niece, Adeline, again. And even though there wasn't exchange of words, you can tell that there's a reverent spirit in just our actions. And this here, witnessing, is John, the same baby that was sitting in my great-grandpa's lap. The last one I'm going to talk about is this piece right here. So this Sharpie. Oh, Ellen. Do you want to be held? Yay! All right, so this piece here and this piece over here are mirrored in theme, and that theme is about learning and leading. So this one over here is the classic one that we know and love, where someone is leading by example, and we are learning from example. That's my mom teaching me how to do the dishes. Something I still know how to do. Don't practice as often. And then this over here is leading and learning, but slightly different. In that one, we are leading through encouragement. So we're teaching our niece how to dance and how to have fun. Off screen, my mom is playing the piano, probably Baby Shark or Bluey or something that the kids like. But in this side, we just experienced like a third person view. Oh, she can't get that. Glad you're watching because I was. But there's a third person point of view here where I was taken out of the photo. So I was noticing this a lot today because people are trying to find me in these paintings and in these paintings, and I said, well, I'm only in one of these because I took all the other ones. I was learning a lot by watching these moments happen and unfold. I was learning something from this little girl, and that was how to learn. So there's that. I'll get my notes back because I don't know where to go after this. I think that's all I have to do, and then I'd open up for questions. So, yeah, Abby.
Would you briefly describe, or however long you want to take to describe, but would you talk about the middle image?
Yeah, for sure.
What that means and how that bridges?
Yeah. So this middle piece is all my siblings. There's Hannah, Lydia, Miriam, me, Joseph, Rebecca, and John in that order. I'm the middle of 7. I'm very blessed to be so. And this piece acts like the thesis statement and the paper, and all the other ones are body paragraphs. They're there to support it. The piece in the middle is kind of capturing what this whole show is supposed to be, and that is a thank you letter, a praise and a prayer to the Lord for putting me in a family that worships God, and that can show me what that looks like. So even before I knew how to love or what love was, I knew what it felt like to be loved. And I was experiencing that with all these people, and our joy for that was made complete in our sharing of it. Any other questions? Hannah?
Which one is your favorite to make and why?
Okay. I also got that question today, and I was like, oh, don't ask me, but that's a good question. I landed on this one here because it was one of the first ones I made, and then I stopped. And then I stepped away from it, and I painted all the other ones, and I was like, this goes up in a week. I need to finish it. And so then I went back through, and it was kind of what the whole show was, which was reflecting on a past experience with a new perspective. And so since I painted that one before some of the others, and then I learned something from all these others, then I could apply what I learned in that piece and help unify the whole show. And so I think that really captures like the concept of it too. Do I have any other questions about process or anything too? Yeah, Nina.
Yeah, which one was the hardest or most frustrating?
Oh, the middle one. This was one of my senior projects for senior portfolio, and I turned it in, and I said, Preflo knows this, I turned it in and was like, this is my senior portfolio project for now. I was like, I'm happy with it, but I'm sure I'm gonna walk away for Christmas break and come back and be dissatisfied, and that was very true. So I went through with some white paint and just painted all over and messed some things around. I didn't like some of our positions. Sorry, Mir, but we both walk like sticks. I don't know what we're both like, and that is not interesting whatsoever. So I had to go back and kind of Mod Podge some other photos. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that one was the most frustrating, but it was also really rewarding because when I put it up, I saw how it played with all the other ones.
So where were you originally for that picture?
That one the reference is taken in the, let me get this right, the Parthenon, the reconstruction of the Parthenon in like Texas, or not Texas, Tennessee or Nashville. It's Nashville. I think you guys must have taken the photos, one of you guys.
Mom, yeah, mom.
Yeah, and it was on her blog. Don't go looking it up. Do you have any questions, Sally?
Where did you get your inspiration for your colors? Because they're very unique color palettes and they're just beautiful and things I would never decide to put together.
Yeah, that's such a good question. Look at you asking an arty question, artist. Okay, so I actually was very prepared for this. I had a lot of influences, and a lot of these influences grew and changed. Bruce Campbell's class was a huge influence because he made us do these color sheets where we had to sit there and mix paint and then put them on a swatch and then mix paint and put on a swatch and then match them up into what would look nice, and we had to turn those in like every week. Yeah, every week. We were like, did we do it every week? We tried. But a lot of the artists that we looked into really inspired that too. So I'm gonna name a few. If you guys know them, then good for you. You can learn something. There's Joan Mitchell, Richard Diebenkorn, he's a huge one, Helen Frankenthaler, and Cicely Brown. Those are a few of them. I know there's a lot more, but they're more so like paintings and not the painters that I like. So yeah. Abby?
Is it all the same medium, or what mediums did you use?
Yeah, they're all acrylic. And then I also used some oil pastel to add in some of that like detailing. This one and the one that mirrors it are specifically really reliant on that to add that glow to it. Yeah. All right.
Can you tell us more about that process? Like, do you sketch them first, or
Oh,
do
yeah.
you go right to the paint?
I sketched on my iPad, and what I would do is I would choose colors, so mostly all pinks for some, all greens for some, all yellows for some, and I would make these shapes. So let's see if we can see them really prominently in any of these. This one is probably the easiest to see because I didn't cover up all the background, but there's this pink background, a yellow square here, and then a light pink square here, I think it's behind yellow. And then I do my sketch on top of that so that when I'm translating it into painting, I start with the underlayers, the shapes, and then I can say, oh yeah, this line goes over this shape that way and over this shape that way. And I also like how it plays through, so you can kind of see the shapes and see some of the process. I like inviting my audience into that process work. Yeah.
Where's this gonna hang after it's done?
Great question. Whoever
I
takes.
noticed your mother looked very eagerly.
Yeah. To be determined. Yeah, I'll apply to a bunch of places and we'll see which one takes it first. Yeah.
Were the sketches up there, were those ideas that didn't make it onto canvas?
That's a good
Or-
question. So this was the invitation that I sent out, or part of it, and yeah, we know. And then they're mostly washes of paint, and they're just like a slightly more abstracted version of it. And they're all my family. So my dad, my mom, my sister. I know you'll squint and be like, where? But trust me, they're in there. You gotta look for a while. And there's Lydia and Miriam, her dog's under her. Shout out to Remy. And then there's me and my sister Becca, my brother Joseph, Rebecca, and Adeline, and then John with my sister Hannah's dog, Freddie. So the dog's made a little appearance every so often. Yeah.
Do you anticipate adding to your collection? So like adding more pieces like in 10 years or 5 years?
I love that idea. I think for now I want to focus on what the next collection is going to be. So I've been traveling a lot, and I want to do a show based on my travels and things that I learned from those and compositions from those places. So I think for now I'll put a pin in this one, see what sells, and maybe I'll come back a few years later down the road and revisit. But it's hard to say right now. All right, I can take one more question if someone has one.
I have a little one that makes
Yeah.
no sense.
That's all right.
But I've learned, having many artists around me, that you don't say that. It's really interesting. And they really want to know.
Yeah.
I really want to know, what does that 7 mean? It's like the 7 deadly sins.
I'm gonna say the 7 children, but to be completely honest, it's just a brushstroke. Yeah. It was just like a implement. I think there was probably a cube here and I wanted to outline it. So I'm gonna leave you guys all with an application before we move on to the next step. Yeah, I wrote this on the next page over. Get me so prepared. All right, so as I send you guys off, I want you to remember your family, your found family, or your literal family, and thank God for how He's put them in your lives. And then also take note of some of these themes, and ponder how the themes introduced in your adolescence are reflected, and acknowledge how the Lord continues to refine and rework those themes in your life today. Thank you guys so much.